Basically, we wean the pacifier, and normally therapists recommend it at 6 months. Now, I know a lot of you know that the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends it, especially between 0 to 12 months, because it does decrease sudden infant death syndrome. Now, if you could wean the pacifier between 0 to 12 months, that would be great. 6 months would be, again, ideal. Why 6 months? Again, because, they start forming an emotional attachment to these pacifiers. And that is definitely something that we need to consider, because the older they are, the more difficult it's going to get, the more tantrums they're going to start creating as well. So definitely make sure you understand that. But another thing too is, if you're going to wean during the 0 to 12 months, make sure that you're taking your family situation into consideration. Why? Because if you're going through a really stressful time, if your little one is going through some sort of pain, or is going to go through some sort of procedure, or there's something that might go on in the near future, then maybe you want to consider it, and maybe it's probably not a good idea to wean away the pacifier yet. So make sure that you're looking at the big picture, but also look at the here and now, and whether or not it's the ideal situation to do it in. Now, let's go ahead and go into how to wean the pacifier. Now, I'm going to go into different age groups, and I think I'm going to end up separating it into two: 0 to 6 months, I should say 0 to 12 months, and then 12 months and on. So I'll just keep it simple. Now, for the 0 to 6 month babies, I normally recommend for them to start utilizing the chewy tubes. Now, normally with the chewy tubes, why chewy tubes? Because they actually strengthen the jaw, and it actually helps with pre-feeding skills, which is pretty awesome, especially if you're going to be doing baby-led weaning. Now, the actual chewy tube that I actually have here is the Q chewy tube here, and I'll go ahead and put it down on my Amazon storefront page so you guys could see it. Now, this is a pretty awesome chewy tube that they can utilize, or any type of toy that they're really into, in order for them to start weaning away from the pacifier. Now, you could do it before bedtime, or you could do it during nap time, whatever works out for them. One other thing too that I wanted to talk to you about is make sure that you start doing it during the day. Now, why during the day? Because you have one, more energy, and second of all, you could keep a close eye on your little one. You'll be able to be a little bit more successful with consistency, especially during the day, because you're not super tired. But other than that, try the chew tube. Another thing too is a lovey doll, and you could attempt to do the lovey doll because it could have your smell on it. You could wear it, kind of bring it near the baby, but make sure that you keep a good eye out of the lovey doll with your baby while they're sleeping, because normally we don't want anything in the crib other than just the baby and covered with the blanket. But other than that, if you're going to be there, if you're going to be keeping a close eye out on your little one, and it is something that you want to try, then go for it. So definitely try that. Another thing is rocking the baby to sleep. You could use a therapy ball to help you out as well, or just rock with your legs. You could also sort of structure the environment into more of an ambient lighting, or no lighting at all whatsoever. Nature sounds in the background, or slow rhythmic music in the background as well. One other thing too that I recommend as well is if your little one ends up waking up and they're just constantly rooting and wanting something in their mouth, I know you're probably gonna say ew, or this is not for me. Totally understandable, whatever works for you. But there's some parents that are totally fine with actually putting their finger in the baby's mouth to suck on, and then eventually taking it out. That's definitely an option that you guys could do. Another thing too that you guys could do as well is, once you guys are somewhat successful during the day, again, make sure that you're very consistent. If you are successful during the day, then make sure that you pick a weekend or a day that you are not planning to work, or a weekend that you know that you will be home and you will have a lot of energy. That way you have energy during the nighttime while your little one is going through a tough time in terms of pacifier weaning. So definitely take that into consideration of yourself and not just the baby, and everyone in the household as well. One other thing too that you guys could utilize and try, again, it's not a guarantee, but there's also the Baby Frida pacifier. You could try it. I think it will probably end up going a good hand in hand with if your little one is actually using the MAM pacifier. It is probably a similar shape to it, but if your little one is already using the green Soothie pacifier and it's a long pacifier like this one, I don't know if Baby Frida will actually be very helpful, but it's worth a try. Now for little ones after the age of 12 months or little ones between 1 to 2 years of age and 2 years and on, you guys could utilize social stories. There's actually great books that you guys could read about pacifiers and how to take away the pacifier and to discuss why we are taking away the pacifier. So your little one is starting to understand a little bit more about that. Now let's talk a little bit more about that oral sensory perspective. If your little one's constantly chewing on the pacifier, sucking on the pacifier throughout the day, and it's not even a soothing thing, it's just more of a oral sensation, you guys could utilize, especially for little ones above 2 years and over, is you could try smoothies that are nice and thick with a straw and different types of straws. You guys could try cold water. You could actually try crunchy and hard foods like dried fruit, jerky, meat. So those are different types of recommendations that I would do for little ones that are more of the oral sensation phase. So those are pretty much my recommendations that I usually give to some of my families. Go ahead and take certain, recommendations, and if it works for you, that's great. And if it doesn't, then, go ahead and don't do it. But other than that, if you know of a friend or a family member that actually weaned their little one, then go ahead and comment below and I'd love to know. Maybe it could help other families as well too. Thank you and have an awesome day, and go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you love it.